All right. Um, in a professional field, I am an art director and a graphic designer. So I've been in art for a long time. And I'm in a personal level, I'm an outdoor enthusiast, an amateur photographer, and currently the CAG treasurer. So what I'm going to try and do is the best I can to give you guys not anything to do with like creating professional photos, but you have devices, you are trying to get a better image from what you have. So I'm going to try and go through that. I will cover some different devices. Some of you may have heard of RAW or JPEG, you know JPEG, but RAW is another format that captures a lot more detail. Light temperature, light direction. So it's basically lighting and then elements and then editing in the field after or on the computer afterwards. And then I'll show a few photos that I actually took that I like. So in professional cave photography, there are oftentimes several sources of light, and generally you're using your headlamp. So the difference between that and the amount of heavy equipment that you're going to have to bring in when you're a professional photographer, they're bulky. You have to drag these cases to the like further reaches inside the cave. So it's really heavy and difficulty. You're going to need more people and help. And generally what you're looking at a lot of times is 1 or 2 hours for like a single photo. So as you can see that would be a very, very difficult task for most people, especially if you're just a recreational caver. One of the cavers that actually is a professional photographer that came here in Arizona, and some of you may know his name is Philip, I think it's Crochet, I'm not sure. But I stole a few of his photos without his permission, so hopefully I don't, get an email later on. But what I thought is that I'd like to share with you the detail that actually you can get. And some of the things that he does is he'll put lighting behind a person and they'll illuminate the background, or he'll illuminate the water. And, it's very, very, very specific as to the lighting and in the photos that he takes. So as you can see, the light behind, I think this is his wife, but she's in most of his photos. And the illumination behind every single photo that he takes is of a human. It has a background lighting. He did come in, and I did find this online, and he was in Onyx and took the Roman bathroom. And on the left, you can see his photo. And on the right, you can see something that I just took quickly while we were in Onyx. And it's a vast difference. He's got probably 3 sources of light. He's probably got one inside the water, even pushing the water up behind his subject matter. So that just kind of gives you an idea of the average professional versus a caver photo. And I love this photo. It's the same person, but you get an idea of the different like lighting sources just to take one photo. So I thought that was really fun. There's many different devices or for cameras. I mean, I say device because, you've got your cell phone, right? Your cell phone is a camera. But there's many different types of cameras out there and devices. The smartphone is easy. Pretty much everyone has a phone, and they're getting the technology unbelievable. Like I am actually surprised some of the photos that people are pulling off without a professional camera, and it's from their cell phone. They're easy to bring in. They're small and in your pocket. I generally don't bring my phone in because I'm always afraid I'm going to break it. So I personally use the red camera here. That's the point and shoot tough series. I do a lot of canyoneering, so it's also waterproof and a lot of ways that'll make it easier for me to not destroy my phone, and I can get a beating on a tougher camera. The GoPro as well. They have different settings and stuff like that that are really great for lenses and mounting. And the other type is a mirrorless camera, they're coming a long way. That you can actually, with the mirrorless, you can basically turn like something that's almost dark and nighttime into almost a daylight, because of the digital sensor in there. Is just, it's not it's a mirrorless camera. So there's the sensors are huge, and they can actually just collect that detail really quick. And then the DSLR is the beast. I mean, these things are expensive, and they take the most amazing photos, but and you've got a million different settings and lenses and stuff like that. But that is not where I'm going. I'm going to try and stick with what you may have and what you can get the best results from your photos. So I mentioned JPEG and RAW. We all are familiar with JPEG, right? JPEG is pretty much the most common format for a photo. RAW files, a lot of cameras and a lot of cell phones now give you the opportunity to shoot in RAW. And RAW is not just a photo, it's a lot of data. It holds, as you can see here, 4 to 5 times the amount of data than a JPEG. So, if you don't have a large card or a large camera with a large memory, you're going to have a problem quickly. So it'll fill up. They are lossless in quality, so you can actually bring out details. If you look on the left, you can see in the wall, there's actually detail in the black area, which you couldn't get with a JPEG on the right. So, and they are, again, like the most popular format. All right, light temperature. So another thing, and when we take photos, light is done in kelvins, right? This is the way that we view the light. Kelvins are yellow to blue, warm to cool. And when you choose a headlamp, a lot of the headlamps are given, like a lot of manufacturers will be asking you what variety or what Kelvin you might want. So this type of guide will give you an idea. A lot of LED is like higher blue, and a lot of different, it's a newer technology, because I think all of the LEDs used to come out and they were almost all on the higher Kelvin, the 600K. This photo kind of gives you an idea real quick. This is 2 different types of lighting with different, I'm sitting on the left and I've got a warmer light. And on the right, you can see, I think that's Cass in there. She's got a light that has a blue lighting. And if you really kind of go back to the temperature scale, you can get an idea, and that will give you the looks that you're looking to get. Like, so for example, you might say, I like the whiter, the bluer, versus the warmer gives you, the warmer color gives you a different feel to the photo. So, you can also not just have lighting that is on your headlamp or anything like that. This right here I took in post-processing, and I actually have the originals on the left. It was a warmer photo, and then I made it cooler on the right. So you can kind of get a different feel by actually editing after the fact. And a lot of the programs have like just sliders. You can just move it back and forth, and you can get a warmer feel or a cooler feel. All right. I think one of the most important thing in photography is lighting and light direction. So I recommend that you don't use a flash. I know a lot of times your camera automatically has a flash, and just, you think you're going to get the magical photo just by shooting it with a flash straight on, and you're not. I've personally had different results, but to my recommendation is turn your flash off and then use another source of light, whether that's some sort of handheld light, or I take my helmet off, I'll bring it into different directions. Don't use the highest light, try to have the highest brightness. Oftentimes the lowest setting is just giving you that perfect light. Hold the camera still. Again, a lot of times people are just trying to like quickly get it and then keep going down the cave or something like that. Don't rush it. Just take your time. You get less, it won't be as shaky and you're going to get the details. The following example is going to show you just a little example of when I was asked to do this presentation, I had no idea, like, what am I going to do? So I actually took photos of what would look like if I had different sorts of sources or different angles of lighting. So this is an example of lighting straight onto a formation. And it's pretty, but it's not really that, attractive to me. So what I did is I took my helmet off and I moved it to the left a little bit just to come in from the left, and you're going to start getting shadows. So again, now I've moved it behind the formation and I'm able to get that backlighting. And I just thought that the three different photos would give you an idea of how important lighting is, right? As opposed to just taking it when you're wearing your helmet and just taking it straight on. So this is another example of, I still shot this from the left, or had the lighting from the left, but if I moved it just a slight bit back, even further behind the image, it really, really illuminated it and gave it a little better look. And these are just examples of, lighting. You can see on the left, the bacon has the light coming from behind, and the two on the right have lighting. I actually took it and I brought it underneath the formations, and they gave you completely different feeling. So, all right, big rooms, they're always the challenge. And without many different kinds of forms of light, you're not going to get the best results. They're very difficult to capture with your headlamp or even other people. And that's another thing is that, oftentimes you'll want to have other people that are caving with you. Ask them to just take a minute, look that direction, look another direction, and you're going to actually get different results. Because large rooms really suck up the light. Again, trying different directions. And this is three different examples of the same photo. I was trying to capture when I was above, and the group went ahead. And when I got down there, I was like trying to get this cavern. And, you can see on the left was the first example of what everybody was just doing their own thing. And I asked them if they could just start looking around. And in the middle, as you can see, they're all kind of still looking in the same direction. So it was better. But then on the right-hand side, I had them even turn around and just get a different lighting angle. So it illuminated areas that, I couldn't get with my own just headlamp. So ask your fellow cavers to just help out. And generally, everybody is pretty easy because they like being in the photos. So, human element is another piece of, I'll say, an important piece because people like to see people. I don't know if you are, on social media and you're just clicking through, like a friend throws up some photos and it's a bunch of landscape photos, which are great, right? And they're beautiful. And some of them are absolutely stunning, but you slow down when you actually see a person. So it adds an element there that might just give a person a moment to pause. And it allows you to see scale, and it'll allow you to see more color and adds a little character to your photos. So on the left, you can see this is, some of you know the dong room. And I took a photo and it was okay. And I asked my friend to move in, and just having that person inside the photo, I think it adds a little more character and a little more, color, as well as something for people to look at. It gives you scale. This is another two photos that I took that I absolutely love. I love the crawling through and the bacon. Having a person actually just behind it and in the photo, it just gives it a little bit more. So can anyone guess what the one on the left is? That's second gate for Crystal. Another thing is asking people to turn their headlamps off. You can see a great example here of what happens when you have somebody with the headlamp on, and it's not always set in stone, but sometimes it's just easier. You'll get the photo. It's not, capturing that moment in time, but they take the photo off and you're actually or their headlamp off and you won't have that light illuminating right into your lens. Capturing the small details. So sometimes I will be sitting there and I'll be thinking about like, oh, I want to get that big room or that big feature. And I'll be sitting waiting for somebody to finish up. And I start looking around and I'll start seeing these small little details that I would overlook. And some of the most beautiful things are in the small details as opposed to the big room. So take a look around and look at what can be overlooked. Here are a few examples of some of the small features that I have found. The box work, I think, is so overlooked by people. A lot of times when the first cave you go to is pepper sauce, and there's a ton of box work in there. And, if you really start looking at it, it's really quite beautiful. Again, the dripping of the new formation on just solid ground, I thought that is something that people oftentimes will just step right on over, looking for that next formation. If you get the right lighting on a small crystal, like the middle picture in the top, it just creates just something a little more unique. Editing, and in editing, you're going to bring out the details and color saturation. Cropping is, I think, is another really critical part in photos. You can take a photo and crop it after the fact. If you are trying to get really close, the photo might be hard to actually photograph, but then you can edit it and crop in a little bit more. Temperature and sharpness and vibrance can bring out more details in post-processing. And don't oversaturate, please. A lot of times we want to add the color. It doesn't always make it better just because it's more saturated. This is an original JPEG, and then I actually edited it. I actually reduced the saturation, and I just thought that it actually gave it a little more natural look. A few more minutes, so I'm going to try and go through cropping. Again, the photo on the left I love, but I also, you don't see all of the detail, but if you crop in closer, you might get a little bit of detail. And if, you're just trying to try something different, cropping really helps bring out some details. Few final tips: bring your camera close to your body. So a lot of times you'll see where somebody has a headlamp on and they are just wearing it, they didn't take it off or use it in a different angle. You'll see like a black line underneath because their headlamp and their camera or their cell phone is blocking the light, and you get this black underneath. So just bring it closer to your head. Sometimes I'll even bring it, capture it, bring it in closer, and then press the button, and it'll get a better look. Don't rush, stay still, keep your hands still as possible, and take the shot several times if you to get the desired look. I will show you another one in a second. All right. Off center always looks better. Don't center everything. All right. A few of my Arizona favorite caves. Onyx. This one I actually had somebody, some of you I'm sure are familiar with the Onyx cave. This one is, I'm in one room, and on the other side I had somebody take their light and put it onto the formation behind. Here's another photo that I actually shot, and the person was walking, and I actually, the first time it was blurry, I asked them to go back and walk slowly because, again, people like to be in. This one, I think I shot like 15 to 20 times because I couldn't quite get the right detail. Again, under another light. Pishi, uh, I love that photo. And yeah, that's one of the holes they got to go through. So, and then of course the lighting is always hard to capture with the sparkle effect. Oh, that is so hard to capture. So, and in Pishi again, the Pishi barrel itself is really hard to get because it's so dark in there and there's just, it absorbs all the light. I think the salamander hated me because I was blinding him. SP, the whites are so unbelievable in there. Even I can't capture that. It's just so beautiful. People, again, people give it a little bit, a different feel, you know, it gives you scale. You're not always going to be able to get everything perfect like that big spotlight, you know, is going to be blown out. But Cave of the Bells, just, I love the drip. How could you not have aragonite inside of Cave of the Bells? So, and then just here's a few more details. I think that's the whitest I've ever seen of anything inside of Cave of the Bells, like that feature, because everything's been touched. Chiricahua crystal. They're amazing. Just the small details. This one I absolutely love in the red crystal room. The sweat on the crystal itself is just absolutely beautiful. And I was trying to bring that out, and it's hard to capture in the field. And you got to have the dong as well as the pelican room. So that's it.